All right.
Hello and welcome back to LFC Transfer Room. Liverpool have just defeated. It's unbelievable to say this. They've just beaten 9-0. It's 9-0. 9-0. I don't even know what to say. Rigo, talk to me. Nine
Oh
goals
wow! Finally,
against Bournemouth.
finally, we come out and score first of all, and keep a clean sheet. It feels like ages since we've done either. So, to score first, great start, and then the goals just kept on coming in every type of fashion, even own goals. Just quite unbelievable. What a beginning to the weekend, and definitely whatever Klopp said to the team Tuesday definitely kick-started them. So very happy with the result today, Owen.
And all the goals that started off early. Third minute, Luis Diaz. And then fifth minute, Harvey Elliott. Is a fast start that we needed. Obviously, the players needed that shove after the loss against Man United. We did the post match then, and yeah, it wasn't the same mood. I can tell you that for anyone who's watching. But yeah, today's a lot more positive. 9-0 against Bournemouth. And yeah, look, it's just kind of hard where to start. Where do we start with this? Is there any sort of player in particular, man of the match, who particularly stood out for you today?
For man of the match, I think it definitely has to go to Roberto Firmino with that performance. 2 goals, 3 assists, performing his false nine role to the best of his ability today. It was a flashback performance, definitely something that we needed. So I definitely have to give it to Bobby for the man of the match.
Absolutely. Like, I'll be honest, in the past, I've criticised Bob Firmino just for not being good enough. And the season, you have to say, him alongside many others just haven't been at it. But yeah, today, it was unbelievable. 2 goals, 3 assists. And for people who have him in their fantasy team, they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it because I don't know many people who would have chosen to put him in their team after his performance. And I was even calling for Bobby Firmino not to start today, like Fabio Carvalho. Did you want to see him start today? I know he got his goal in the end, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, should he even been in the team in the first place? But Klopp
Uh,
showed
I,
trust.
No, I would actually dropped Henderson for Carvalho. So when I saw Henderson named to the lineup and Fabio on the bench, that was a semi disappointing, especially how Henderson's been playing. But yeah, Bobby just came with it today, and everyone was on it. The press finally worked, and for us, I believe everything starts with our defense, and it was on the money today. Bournemouth had nowhere to go, no real threats on goal to Allison. He finally had a match that he can relax and not have to face down any free runners 1-on-1. So everything clicked today from top to bottom, from attacking midfield. We actually had a midfield today, which was remarkable. We weren't donut shaped. So Fabinho played his role. It was his, no doubt, his best performance of the season. He got dribbled past the first 2 matches, and this game against Bournemouth, he was right there to stop any counters and definitely helped relieve the pressure on Gomez and Van Dijk, not to mention Trent and Andy on the wing. So just a top level performance, just quite remarkable. The crowd was chanting for 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. We didn't get there, but 9, I'll take 9. Brings our goal difference up to 8. So just great, Owen, just great.
Yeah, fantastic. And you mentioned Firmino there. I think in the past he's looked really tired, lethargic, but he got the rest last week, albeit at the expense of the team. But yeah, today he looked like he was back at it. And we're going to need Fabinho in the upcoming months, aren't we? Like, he's our only defensive midfielder, for being honest. Well, I guess you could chuck Jordan Henderson there, but like, yeah, he's got that role in the team where you can't replace him. There's not really a like for like sitting in front of the defense, and yeah, him Van Dijk as well, because like, Van Dijk and Gomez they weren't at it last week. Even Van Dijk in the course of the season, he's looked poor, but yeah, today he just looked back and he looked like the colossus sort of figure in the defense, and he even got his goal, didn't he, from the corner, which yeah, bullet header, and it feels like it's been a while since he's actually gone and scored it from a corner now.
Yeah, it has been, right. We haven't seen one of those in quite a while. But again, everything I believe builds off. off that midfield for our defense. They have to be that first line to kind of stop those threats from coming in, and then leaving it up for Van Dijk or whoever his partner is that day to clean up the mess. So I think having that stability today laid the foundation for us to have a remarkable performance. And just today was just filled with highlights. Elliot's first goal in the Premier League, Fabio Carvalho's first goal as a Red and in the Premier League, and everyone got on the money. Diaz got in on the action. We had Van Dijk. We had obviously Firmino. Costas came off the bench and provided 2 assists. The only one that surprisingly didn't contribute either goals or assists was our main man Mo Salah.
But surely, when you look at it though, although it's annoying that Mohamed Salah couldn't take his chances because he did get them, admittedly, it's a positive at the same time that we're still creating and scoring these chances with Mohamed Salah not directly involved. I know in a lot of the goals, people say, "Oh well, Mohamed Salah didn't get any contributions," but at the same time, he was still involved. He was still kind of in the build-up. So it'd be unfair to say, "Oh yeah, take Mohamed Salah out of this team and we would have won 9-0." It doesn't quite work like that. But at the same time, it's good to see he's not always the finishing touch, if you like.
Definitely, this team needs to not rely solely on Salah, obviously, to score our goals, and it is a positive having put up 9 on the score sheet and him not contributing at least directly to any of them. But his presence definitely opens up everything for us. His threat, leaves space for other players, and it's just this is definitely what we needed. I feel like our season's finally started. The first 3 matches, I feel like we were sleepwalking through them, and the wake up call came obviously against those Red Devils out of Manchester. So I think I don't know if this is Klopp masterminding everything by the lineup he threw out on Monday and the result. Now we're in for a midfielder. Now we've scored 9 and kept a clean sheet. So I think it's things are looking up. We can be pretty positive, at least for this weekend, as a Liverpool fan.
Oh, of course, definitely. John W. Henry at Anfield as well. It's kind of a crisis situation when you see him around. But yeah, guys, make sure you do leave a comment. We'd love to get your thoughts right now, and also to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, of course. Just hit 6K, absolutely massive. So really, really appreciate your support, of course. But yeah, like trying to just think through the goal scorers, and there's so many to get onto. Luis Diaz, though, both headed goals. I don't think he scored a headed goal for us at all before that. So yeah, both kind of different. One from directly from a corner, and the other Robert Firmino cross. A very, very good header into the top corner. Like, it's great to see that we have that aerial threat, because in Sadio Mane, we knew that we were kind of getting that. He was probably, it'd be fair to say, him and Firmino were probably the best out of the all of our attackers that kind of heading the ball. Obviously, Darwin Núñez to come as well. He's going to be very good on the air. But yeah, it's great to see Luis Diaz scoring these type of goals as well, isn't it?
Yes, and definitely, I believe that all stems from the way we played today. In the prior 3 matches, in the build-up play, we were almost non-existent, forcing Luis to track back even further. So having him in the box being dangerous, I think, just opens up that threat, and we saw that in the 2 goals he scored. Those acrobatic jumps in the box and heading those with accuracy, just remarkable. And that again just comes with us having actually position in the game and having that reliability in midfield where those offensive players can actually be a threat in the box and not have to build up the play. So very, very positive.
And it might just be me, but I think it'd be fair to say this was the case today, that there was the intent there, and the intensity was up. And every time we got the ball, it was like we want to score a goal. And in the past few weeks, you've seen us get the ball. It's kind of been like, oh yeah, we'll just build our way into it. Every single time we got the ball, it's like, right, we're going to go and score a goal now. And that's what I really, really love to see. And you can tell that Jurgen Klopp's been having a go at these boys, can't you? You can tell he's been on at them all week. And yeah, he must have had some harsh words for them after their few previous performances. But yeah, do you think now going forward, this is going to be the case? This is going to be a scenario. Obviously, we're not going to win 9-0 every week, but there's no reason why we can't go out and dominate and score goals past teams like this. You're on mute, mate.
My bad. Possession has been there all matches this season, but we actually had results with that possession. I think the killer instinct was there. Uh, the obvious and alarming trend of us giving up the first score of the match, I believe, was drilled into them. We need to score first. And once we do get that first goal, it's like blood in the water for Sharks. And then our press really comes alive. Then the pressure's on the other team to try and even out the match. And that's when things start collapsing for them and start building up for us. So, uh, that to me was the biggest key, because if we don't get that first initial breakthrough goal, then I think it goes back to that mentality. Okay, we're dominating without a result. What do we do? What do we do? So that initial goal, I think, just open up the floodgates. That layoff by Firmino to Elliott to curl that ball in, just again, just more fuel to the fire. The crowd was absolutely on it. So Bournemouth just ran into a bus. We can't expect, obviously, that result every weekend or the same level of competition as Bournemouth provided to us today. But what we can certainly expect is likely our identity coming back and being that pressing juggernaut that we are. So very positive signs, and I hope it's a sign of things to come, along with an addition to our ranks. I hope this massive victory doesn't cloud over the fact that we do need reinforcements in the middle of the pitch.
That's an interesting point you raised there just before. That before today, previous 7 games, in every game we'd gone 1-0 down, so we hadn't taken the lead initially. So getting that first goal, it was huge, wasn't it? And then the crowd just lifted, and yeah, we needed that Anfield crowd today. Yeah, exactly. We needed that Anfield crowd today, and when we had it, it was that every time we went forward, we looked like we were going to score a goal. But yeah, going forward now, signing a midfielder. Obviously, Klopp's quotes came out last night, and it looked fairly. How do I find the words? Fairly obvious, fairly clear that Klopp now wants to sign a midfielder. Klopp now understands that we need a midfielder, and hopefully this performance and this result doesn't change his mind and make him think otherwise. But yeah, getting that midfielder in. Do you still think it's necessary? Do you still think that even after this 9-0, we definitely have to go and get one?
1,000%. 1,000%. I feel really comfortable with Elliott on the right side of our midfield three, along with Fabinho. But on the left hand side, considering Thiago is not around, yeah, I'm not absolutely comfortable with Henderson starting there, either on the left or the right. Unfortunately, I feel like he should be shifted to more of off the bench role, spot starter, as opposed to a nailed on in the starting 11. So I feel we definitely need a more dynamic carrying player there, more athletics, speed wise, more willing to do the dirty work as well. I think Hendo has lost a step. Milner, obviously, 37 years old, for all the professionalism, hard work, and just his drive that he has. The body can only do what the body can do. So I think we definitely need reinforcements now and to set us up for the future as well. We can't transfer in 6 different players in one off season. So I think we need to get at least one in prior to the window closing on Thursday.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think it's a case of just building for the future as well. Because next time I think we probably need 3, even 4 midfielders with the departures in mind as well. So getting one in now, it's not going to be any harm. It's not going to hurt the team at all. But John Henderson, he's had a lot of criticism over the last few weeks. I'll exclude the Crystal Palace game because I thought he was all right when he came on. But the Fulham game and the Man United game, he was poor. He was very, very poor. But you have to give him credit today, don't you? He was back. Hendo's back.
I'll temper my enthusiasm on that one. He definitely played more to his assigned role in the prior weeks with better results. He still, to me, unfortunately, gives me a little bit of pause whenever he's pressured with the ball. I feel like he hot potatoes it a little bit too much. His stats might not show it because he's offloading the ball, but I don't feel he puts his teammates in the best position with it. And when he is pressured, I feel like he just punts the ball to whatever open area he can, as opposed to being calm and looking for, an opening there. And if he's playing on the left hand side with, he's not as comfortable delivering the ball with his left foot. His skills, I'm sorry, aren't there for all his drive and that engine. I feel we still need a rise in the skill level in the midfield. Someone a little bit more comfortable with the ball, who can assist Fabinho, but also progress the ball upfield and get our attackers moving further up and creating havoc up there. So uh, my ideal state, and I mentioned this on the pod and elsewhere, is Henderson should have transitioned into that Milner role that Milner's had the past couple of seasons, and we should have brought in a starter for that midfield. I know we tried with Chow Many; that would have been the ideal uh, pickup, in my opinion. Real Madrid obviously snatched them up, but yeah, we definitely need someone to push Henderson back down to the bench. I think it strengthens us on the bench and makes us deeper. Uh, so definitely, we need another incoming. That I'm not gonna that I'm not moving away from.
Yeah, definitely. Not to shut that down or anything, or kind of move away from the talk of signing a new midfielder. But Harvey Elliott, he's kind of making that role now off the right hand side of the midfield. He's making that role his own. He's kind of taking this opportunity where there isn't maybe that sort of ideal midfielder that you want, a Schumann or Bellingham, whoever. He's taking advantage of that and he's saying to Klopp, look, I want this shirt. I want to be starting here. And he scores with a fantastic finish. And in previous weeks, you could say, with Harvey Elliott, has he been getting enough goals? He's getting enough assists. But no, he's starting to add that to his game now, and it's like thinking it's going to be scary for other teams seeing what Harvey Elliott's doing now.
Yeah, definitely. He provides us again another option out there on the right side. Someone who's comfortable with the ball, not afraid of defenders coming in to challenge him, and he's always looking to lay out that pass to his teammate. So I believe he's definitely trying to nail on to hold on to that starting spot on the right side. So I think now we just need to kind of hopefully bring in a player who can shift around that midfield. And I know Klopp is looking for that, player who can fit into a 8 or a 6. So it might be a little difficult finding that specific player now, but perhaps now with Elliott's emergence, it allows us to go for another player who can fill in some of the other holes that we have, especially considering a backup for Fabinho. It was quite positive to see Stefan Bajcetic make his debut. He's a Spaniard, so I'm obviously rooting for him. And I believe in time he can make that backup six his position. I know he in preseason and in the short cameo he had today, he seems very comfortable on the ball, and and he seems to be in the right spots when needed. But again, very young, very green. He needs to get his experience, but very promising. So with those five subs, I think now it allows Klopp to get those younger players the experience needed. Not only on the back end of matches, but perhaps introducing them as starters and then having those veterans come in towards the tail end of the match to see it out.
Yeah, with the five subs, it was good to see Bajcetic and Bobby Clark as well come on in. The game was already won, so to get players off rested, it was only positive. But going on to midfielder, I think I have to ask this question to you now, Rigo, because I don't think um, I've heard a lot of talk about on social media about kind of a realistic option and then kind of a dream sort of let's say De Jong, Barella. I'll ask you for both. Who do you think like realistically Jurgen Klopp's going to want to bring in, and then in your like dream scenario, who would you want in that situation?
Dream scenarios. Okay, I'll say that one for later. But more realistically, I think the names that jump out to mind would be Carlos Soler from Valencia. I think he's a player who can fill multiple roles. Um, Very skillful. Barella, I don't think he wants to leave Italy. Unfortunately, he is a tremendously talented player. I know that highlight was making the rounds yesterday. That no look assist. They actually lost yesterday to Lazio. Inter did 3-1. And the player that really kind of jumped out to me and has been rumored to leave Lazio for quite a number of seasons already would be Sergei Milinkovic Savic. He's 6'4", giant of a man, skillful, can play CM, can play the attacking role, has enough guile and skill to cover as a six if needed for us. Is 27 years old, and I think perhaps now might be the perfect time for him to leave Lazio. I know Sarri has a great project going there, but I think he might be a realistic one also. The player I've been
Well, about
shouting
that,
out
yeah, investment man. What do you
for
say
a
about De
few
Jong?
weeks. Oh, De Jong. Oh, I love him,
It's a
but
dream, isn't it? But
I don't. Obviously with the Dutch connection with Van Dijk, I think would be tremendous. Perhaps he can convince him to lower his wages, but I know. He's been getting paid a good amount of money, and I don't know if he'll drop that enough to fit into the wage structure for us. And I don't know if he actually really desires leaving Barcelona, not only as far as the team, but also the city. I know him and his fiance or wife are quite enamored with the city, and she loves it there. So I don't know if he wants to actually make that move, but he would be tremendous. He would, obviously be one for now and one for the future. What about for yourself, Owen? Who do you think our realistic shots are? And then we'll get to our dream scenarios.
I think yeah, De Jong's probably in the sort of bracket of a dream scenario. This window, like bringing him in, would show real intent. It's like yeah, where do you show, where do you draw the line? Where's realistic, where's not? So yeah, I think De Jong, if we could get him in, that would be a game changer for us. But Yuri Tielemans, I think he's probably a player who we could potentially bring in. Ruben Neves has been thrown around a lot on social media, and I can't lie, I'm not a massive fan of him. I think going back maybe 3-4 years ago, I would say, yeah, absolutely. When he was scoring those worldies every week, but you don't seem to see them anymore. It's kind of all the videos of him scoring them goals have been kind of recycled from 2-3 years ago, which I don't think is a fantastic sign to see. But I remember that Pep Linders actually talked about him as well, really positively, fellow Portuguese man. So maybe there's a connection there that could work out. But yeah, I'm not absolutely sure on him. What do you think of Neves?
Neves, skillful, tremendous heart. I think he's like captain material. Great set of hair on the guy also. Uh, but I think we need someone a little bit more pacey in our midfield. He isn't the fleetest of foot, and while those skills are useful, I think we need a little bit. I think we need someone with a little bit more range in their game, and a little bit more pace, especially considering we have slower legs in Henderson, Milner, and still to rotate through that midfield. I don't think Neves feels isn't as versatile as some of the other options listed as well. I think we want a little someone with a little bit more versatility. And even though the Wolves have brought in some midfielders already, in our previous supposed target, Mateus Nunes, as well as I believe another player they brought in yesterday. I can't recall the name, unfortunately, but it was a midfielder. I think they're kind of priming him to move. I don't want to pay the 60 or 70 million that they're probably asked for him.
It's
So I'm
stupid, isn't it? Why don't we go for Mateus Nunes then? If we want to sign Ruben Neves, why don't we go for Mateus? It would have made so much more sense than signing Ruben Neves, who is kind of feels like a bit more of a in the past player really than an up and coming exciting player. But yeah, well, look, should we get back to the game because I think a lot of people want to talk about that. We've got all the time in the world to talk about a midfielder. But yeah, let's talk about the Bournemouth game. And there's another name here, Fabio Carvalho. Midweek now against Newcastle. Do you give him full debut? Do you start him at Anfield? Like I can't see a way in which you don't because his finish was unbelievable.
uh, going back to my earlier point. I think, especially with Nunez out, I believe we should have more offensive players to begin with, just to try and get that gold advantage early. So I definitely would start Cavallo in the midfield three with Fab as well as Elliot. Uh, Fabio, every single appearance he's come on, whether short or not, he's tried to come on and do something with the ball, be an attacking threat, put himself into position, and carry the ball. So I say let's use that enthusiasm from the get go, and see what it brings. And in the event that we need a little bit more defensive solidity, then we do have those options off the bench to bring on. But I'm of the belief that Fabio, with the experience that he had in the Premier League prior to Fulham getting relegated, and then last year in the Championship, He obviously made championship team of the year. He's experienced enough to warrant a start. And on top from experience, he's skilled enough to warrant that start. So let that guy go and run. Let's make those other teams afraid of us. I think they become a little bit too used to the players that we're throwing out there and what they can offer. Everyone knows what Henderson can do. Everyone knows what Miller can do. Fabinho isn't going to be a big offensive threat to you either. So I think Carvalho starting him and Elliott, I think that's the way to go for the Newcastle match.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, another man who, like, he hasn't had the best start to the season whatsoever. And yeah, today, what a finish that was from him. Oh my gosh, like right into the top corner. What a rocket. It's just a shame that he couldn't have done that against Man United if we're being real. But yeah, I guess doing it today. And yeah, just in general, his all-round gameplay, he looked a lot more confident, wanting to get the ball, make things happen. And yeah, to be fair, you could say that about every other 10 players, to be fair, on the pitch. But yeah, Trent, he's back.
Yeah, and I think again, it all comes down to how solid are we defensively. If Trent's having to rush all the way back on a counter off of two passes, of course he's going to be made to look a little lackluster on defense. He's gonna be obviously be out of position. We rely on him to do so much on the offensive end, whether it's out on the right side or drifting further infield as he's want to do lately. So if we're not solid in midfield and out of two passes where there's already a counter and almost a shot on goal, that's obviously going to make him look bad, and that's when you get all these people shouting out that he can't defend, he can't play that side of the ball, which is a load of BS in my opinion. I just think just the role that he carries on the team lends itself to him being out of position more often than any other team's right back would be. So he is back. His passes were on the money, but again, what allows him to be that superstar is us being solid defensively, us pressing and getting that ball back, so that he's in position to pick out those other players with that swinging ball in.
Obviously, there's a game midweek against Newcastle, and we won't go over that, skip over that, but it's one more game until Darwin Núñez returns. Let's say Bobby Firmino puts in an absolute masterclass once again against Newcastle. Surely you can't drop him then, do you? Do you bring in Darwin Núñez against Everton, or do you stick with Roberto Firmino? What do you do in that situation?
Uh, Perhaps if Bobby has another, false nine masterclass midweek, then I think he warrants another start. One thing as a manager is you got to ride the hot hand. And if the hot hand is bringing in goals and assists, I don't think Nunez would have a problem whatsoever coming off the bench and terrorizing a tired defense those last 20 or 30 minutes of a match, like he did in the preseason as well as the first match of the season against Fulham, where because of him we came in and got back into the match. So uh, especially considering a three-game layoff. And if Bobby's firing on all cylinders, by all means, let ride the hot hand.
There were a few controversial decisions today, to be fair. The offsides is kind of debatable, really, because it kind of comes down to how you view the laws of the game. You have to feel bad from a Bournemouth perspective. Kris Mepham with the own goal, because yeah, Luis Diaz was in the offside position, and if he leaves it for him, then it will be flagged offside. But he doesn't see him coming, or he kind of knows he's there maybe in behind him and thinks, "Oh, I'll have to clear it," and it ends up going in. What was your thoughts on that one?
Harsh, but to the letter of the law, unfortunately, the offensive player didn't touch the ball, even though he's in an offside position. Defender kicks it into the net. Sorry, that them's the breaks. On that instance, that's where unfortunately his teammates let him down. Instead of calling it off to leave it, they let him kick the ball, and in the net it went. When things start going wrong, unfortunately, it feels like a cascading set of events. And for Bournemouth, they did themselves no favors today in getting spanked 9-0.
I think I remember a similar one to Newcastle with that situation against us a while back. I remember that being the case, but yeah, another one as well. Fabio Carvalho, he seemed to be brought down I think it was around the 90th minute.
Hmm. Should have
I
been
only
a
saw it
penalty.
from one angle, and if I'm being totally honest, it didn't look like a penalty. But I did hear other people say from a certain angle it looked like he did clip his knee. Um, did you see that, or did you think it was a penalty?
I thought it was a penalty. The ball was
Okay.
still in the air, and he got kicked while trying to go for it. I know at that point it might seem overkill for at least the squad in the VAR booth to call a pen and give us a chance for a 10th goal. Kind of beating a dead and rotting corpse at that moment. But yeah, I thought it would have been a pen. I think if the match was closer, it would have been reviewed. I don't think they did any review
Did not.
of
Wow.
it. So not that I noticed on the coverage. I don't think they reviewed it at all. I think they just continued on play, but I could be wrong with that. To me, it was a pen. He got kicked while in air and prevented him from gaining control of the ball. So I would have awarded it, but obviously I have red tinted glasses.
Yeah, to be fair, you can understand why the ref didn't give it so close to the end of the game. Well, that shouldn't come into it really, but at the end of the day, we are human, so you do understand it. And yeah, for Bournemouth today, it wasn't the nicest by any means because yeah, losing 9-0. We all wanted 10. Let's be honest. We were all shouting, "We want 10, we want 10." But yeah, 9-0. We'll have to settle for. We'll have to settle for the 9-0. And do you have any final thoughts going to the next game now? Newcastle, obviously fantastic response to the last game, but yeah, what do you think now going forwards?
All right, for Newcastle, I'm gonna have a single tear coming down my cheek here because I've been singing and crying for Lucas Paqueta to be our transfer target. On our last podcast, he was my shot for a realistic target. West Ham, wow, what a pickup for them. So hopefully he's not fit enough for the match, doesn't get registered in time. But I think we do have enough to obviously get a result midweek against the Tune. I know they've been making some tremendous. I'm sorry for Newcastle. We're talking about Newcastle. I went off on West Ham. For Newcastle, the incoming of Alexander Isaac, big target, 6'4", real quality on the ball, aerial threat, can do hold up play. I think he's obviously a souped up, better, more agile version of Chris Wood, who's another tall target there for them. I think they're making the right moves. They obviously have the financial backing, but it's not as if they've gone out and just splurged it on anyone. So I think they're making some real intelligent moves. I love their manager. I think he's tremendous. So we're in for a tough one. This 9-0 result cannot make us feel as if we're going to go and blow other teams out of the water. We definitely need to be on it like we were today from the get-go against Newcastle in order to get a result. Against Man City, they were able to get that draw that which we didn't capitalize on against Man United. But I think they're a tough team, and we definitely need to be on it in order to get another win and build on today's momentum.
Yeah, first win of the season today. Great stuff. Feels like the season's finally started. But yeah, we really can't afford to drop any more points now. Yeah, this is the start of the season. We have to just build on from now, and I have faith that we can do that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in today. Really good stream. I feel like it's been ages since it's just been two people on here. Like it's always three or four. So yeah, kind of nice just to have that one-on-one conversation. But yeah, make sure you've liked the video, subscribed, as I said earlier, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. I think we should be going live tomorrow night, so make sure you do join that as well. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time.